Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how to create this bottle shape using FreeCAD. I also create a cut to view the sections, and the wall thickness in here is 2 mm. So enjoy the tutorial. Okay, so I start. First I will create in a sketch in the top view, and I will create in a round rectangle. Now I select in this point and this point, and I hit D and I set it to 40, and the distance from this point to this point 80, and the radius 10. Next I will select in this point, and the center point. Hit S for symmetry constraint. Now the sketch is fully constrained. I can close, and I call this one profile 1. So I go up to the view and I show the axis cross to show the arrow. Next I want to create another circle up here, another profile. So I created a sketch on top, but I offset this one to 200. And for this sketch I will create a circle. I select in the circle and I hit D and I set the diameter to 37. And I move the circle to the right a little bit. Next I will create in a point and put that point on the circle. Selecting this point and this line. I hit C to snap it to the line. And selecting this point and hit G and N to turn that into construction geometry. And selecting this point and hit D and set the distance to 6. I close. So I call this one profile 2. Next I want to create in the whole curve to control the shape of the bottle when you see it in the front. I create in a sketch in the front view, and I will reference this line and this line, and also this circle. And I create in a B-spline and I start from this point in the left and put the next point somewhere up here, vertical with the first point, and the next point also somewhere around here, the next point inside a little bit, and the last point touching this point. In the right I create in another B-spline, start from here, and the next point. Okay, something like this. Now I select in this point, I hit V for vertical constraint. Doing the same in here, selecting this point and this point. Hit V. This point, hit V. This point, hit V. Now I will select in this point and hit D and set the distance to 130. This one 162. This one 180. And in here 30. In here will be, let's try 38. Also 39. Let's try 39 for that. And the distance from here to the center, the red line, is 170. 125. 65. 17. 182. And the distance from this point to the center line is 40. Okay, so the sketch is fully constrained. I can close. Next, I will create a sketch in the right view. And I will reference this line and this line. And also this line up here. And creating this spline. Another B-spline in the right, the same 1, 2, and then 3. Now I hit S to activate the symmetry constraint and selecting this point, and the center line. Selecting this point and this point, hit V for vertical constraint, and selecting this point and this point, hit V also for vertical. Selecting this point and hit D and set the distance to 130. This one will be 185. Close. Now the sketch is fully constrained. I'm gonna call this one whole curve 1, whole curve 2. Next, I will jump into the curve shape workbench. In the curve shape workbench, I first selecting the profile 1 and profile 2, and then I select the whole curve later, and then I click on the curve segment. And you can see curve segment generate a curve in between. We just break in here. The reason it breaks is we have a lot of lines in here, so we need to join the profile 1 to a single curve. I selecting the curve segment and delete it. And let me hide the whole curve 1 and whole curve 2. And I go to the curve workbench. In the curve workbench, you can say if I selecting these two profile and go to the view and set the point size to 10, and I go to the top view, and you can see this circle have one point pointing to the right in the middle, but the profile down here have a lot of points but no point in the middle. So we need to create the middle point in here before we create in the joy curve. So instead of changing this sketch, I will copy this one, Ctrl C and Ctrl V. With this new sketch, let me select in this one and hide it. And select in the new sketch and go inside it. I select in this line and hit G and N to turn that into construction geometry. And then I click on the polyline and start from here to here and finish in here. And then I select in this point and then this line, and then I hit C to snap it to the line. Now you can see a new point in the middle. I close. And then I go to Control selecting this edge and then this edge. Just select in sequence. And then last I select in the middle point and then I click on the joint curve. And let me hide the profile here. And if I select in the joint curve and I show the point size to 10, you can see we have a point, but this point is over here. Okay, it's not what I want, so I just simply deleting this one and recreate the joint curve, but this time I select in the reverse direction. Start from here. And the last one, the point, this point, and joint curve, and hit spacebar to hide the profile 3. And you can see we have a point in the middle in here. Now I will select in this to whole curve and show it. And let me go to the curve shape workbench. And then I control selecting the joint curve and then the profile 2 and then the 2 whole curve, and then I go to the curve segment. And you can see the curve is much better, but we still have a problem, an issue in this corner. So we need to increase the resolution of this curve by click on the curve segment and go to the data. And we have an option, interpolation points. I increase this one to, I double this one to 32, and you can see the curve is smoother. But let's try 200 for a better result. And I also increase the number of items to 20. Okay. And then I go to the make surface and set it to true. Now this is the result of the new big surface. Let me drop this one down and hide all of this line in here. The next step is I want to remove the back of this surface. Remove the back. So I will use the cut the trim face in the curve workbench. So I go to the curve workbench and go to the right view. Make sure you click on this cube to the right view, and then you click on the line in the middle, and then the surface you want to keep, and then you click on the trim face, and then you have a new we just remove the back of this surface. Then I will create in the detail in the body down here. So I go to the prod workbench. In the prod workbench, I will create in a sketch in the front view. And I view the section. Let me create in a B-spline. Let's start from here. The next point put in here, and the last point put in here. Another B-spline. Start from here, here, go down here, and finish in here. Okay. Now I select in this point and this point. I hit H for horizontal constraint and selecting this point and hit D and set the distance to 60. And also the distance from this point to the center line, the green line, will be 50. The distance from this point to the green line also 50. And the distance from this point to the red line is 10. I select in this point and the green line and I hit C to snap it. In here, I select in this point and then this point. I hit V for vertical constraint. Select in this point. Do not select in the circle, okay? Select in this point and this point. Hit V for vertical. Select in this one, hit V. Select in this one, hit H for horizontal. This one, hit H. Now I select in this point and set the distance to the red line 138. And from here to the red line will be 110. Okay. And the distance from here to the green line will be 30. Now the sketch is fully constrained. You can see my sketch dimension. I close. I select in this sketch and I go to extrude. Let's extrude this one to 100. Symmetric. Okay. I select in the trim face and the extrude and I go to part, split, and then slide apart. And in here, inside the folder, we have 3 pieces. I select the middle piece and I go to the scale. And I choose the non-uniform scaling because I just want to scale in the S and the Z axis. In the S, I choose 0.95 and 0.95 for the Z and click OK. And I click on the scale and I move this one up. I go to the placement position, move this one up to 4. And also selecting this one and move this one to the right 1 unit in the S-axis. And then I can fill the surface in between by going to the surface workbench. I click on the few sections and I click on the add edge and I click on this edge and then this edge. Okay, doing the same in here. Sections, add edge, this one and this one. Okay, now I will create in the detail up here. So I go to the part workbench. Let's create in a new sketch in the front view. And let me fill the sections. I created an arc. Something like this. I select in this point, and the center line. I hit S for symmetry constraint. I select in this point, and I hit D. And I set the distance to 25. And the distance from this point to the center line down here is 150. and the radius 40. Next, I will create another arc, something like this. I select the new arc and hit D and set the radius to 50. And then I create another arc, start from here to here. Another one from here to here. I hit T to activate the tangent constraint, and then I click on this arc and then this arc. Okay, this one and this one. Next, I select this arc and hit D and set the radius to 10. And the radius of this one is 2. Next, I select in this CAD and go to extrude. Let's extrude this one to 100. Okay. I select in this surface and then this extrude and just cut it. Yes. The next thing I need to do is I want to create an arc, connect from here to here, and another arc from here to here to control the form of the surface. I control selecting this point up here and this point down here and creating a new sketch based on the OS and Y. So I reference, I rotate the sketch a little bit and I will click on the point on this red line, okay? And then I will create an arc curve inside. I select this arc and hit D and set the radius to, let's try 30. And then I close. Doing the same in here. I control selecting this point and this point, and then creating a new sketch based on our S and Y. I reference this point on this red line, and then creating an arc curve inside. I select in this arc, hit D and set the radius to 5. I close. Alright, next I go to the surface workbench. And then I fill in tool, just selecting edges in sequence. And go to the back. Click on the edge constraint and click on add edge, and then I click on this edge and then this edge. Okay, now I click on these two edges and hit spacebar to hide. Let me go to the curve workbench and just simply select these surfaces one by one and click on parametric solid to create a new surface. I hit spacebar to hide everything except for this new surface, and I call this one outer surface. Okay. The next thing I need to do is I want to create an offset, 3D offset of this surface. But instead of creating offset of this big surface, I separate this surface into 3 pieces and offset this one to have the first piece, and this one for the second, and this one for the third. So I can just select in this surface and then this surface, and then I click on parametric solid to creating a new surface. You can see right here. Selecting the middle one and creating a new surface in here. Creating this one, selecting this one and creating a new surface. And let me hide the outer surface for you to see what's going on. We have 1, 2, and 3 surface. The next step is I will offset them one by one. So I go to the Product Workbench and selecting this one, go to the 3D offset. And in default, the 3D offset outside. So I want to offset inside, so I put negative 2 for 2 mm, and I don't check on the field offset, and I click OK. Now you can see we have a new offset inside. Doing the same with this one. Negative 2. And we have another one. Select this one. 3D offset. Negative 2. And just wait for a second. Okay. And then I click OK. And also wait, because this one is a more complex one. All right. Let me drop these 3 down and select these 3 surfaces and hit spacebar to hide it. So in here we have 3 offset surface. And let me show the outer surface for you to see. If I go to the wireframe, you can see it's offset pretty good. But if I zoom up here, you can see the 3D offset just go above a little bit. Okay, in this area it go up a little bit, but in this area it go down a little bit. You can see this is my 3D offset, and this is the outer surface. This one go below. So the solution of this 3D offset up here, this surface in here, the offset 002, is I want to bring this one up a little bit, like 0.2, and from there, after I bring that one up, I will cut it to equal the outer surface. And the solution for the bottom, I will remove this one to 2 mm. And if I look at from the right view and I zoom close here, bottom, and you can see the 3D offset also not good in here, so we need to I think I should remove this one to a little bit, like very small, like a 0.1. And after I remove this geometry, I will move this one to the right 0.1 to fit to this center of the scene right here. Okay, and then I will mirror them to the other side. So let me go to the flatline. And let me hide the outer surface. And I select in the offset 002, and I go to the position and the axis. Let's move this one up to 0.2 a little bit, and just wait. Okay, and if I view, I show the outer surface and view the wireframe, you can see the black line right here is now above the green one, which is my outer surface. The offset just go above. Now it's good. I hide the outer surface, and let me show the flat line. Now I will control select these three, and then I go to part, compound, and make compound, and then I will create a sketch in the front view, and I will create a rectangle, something like this, and another one, something like this. I select in this point and hit D and set the distance to 2 mm because I want to remove 2 mm of this geometry. Up here, I select in this point and I hit D, and I know that the length of my bottle is 200, so I want to flat that out, so I go to 200. Okay, now I hit close, and then I select in the sketch and I go to extrude. Let's go to 100 and symmetric. Okay, now I select in the compound and the extrude, and I just cut it. Okay, the next step is I also want to cut 0.1 in this area. So I create another sketch in the right view and creating a rectangle and selecting this point and hit D and set the distance to 0.1. Very small. Okay. I make sure the rectangle are outside of the surface. I close. I select in my new sketch and go to extrude. 100, symmetric. I select in the cut and the extrude and just cut it. Now you can see if I zoom close here. Okay, you can see the arrow and the surface is away. The surface is away from the center, a little small gap. So I will select in this cut and I move this one to the right 0.1. So I go to the position, the y-axis 0.1. Okay. Now, what we need to do next is we will fill the surface in here. So I go to the surface workbench. And then I just simply click on the fill section, click on add edge, and then click on this one and this one. Okay. Section, add edge. This one and this one. Okay. Now I hit Shift B and select everything. Then I go to the curve workbench. Click on parametric solid. And I call this one inner surface. Okay, now I have the inner surface. And let me show the outer surface. Now you can see we have a good offset in here. Let me hide the outer surface for a second. And let me work with the inner surface a little bit more. I select in the inner surface and I go to the Plot Workbench and I go to the mirror it in the S and Z plane. And then I will fill the surface down here. I go to the Surface Workbench. And then click on this tool, Filling tool, and selecting this one and this one. Okay. Now I drop this one down and select the inner surface, the mirror, and the inner surface of this one, and also the surface down here. And go to the Curve Workbench again. And parameter solid. Okay, so now we have a solid 005. And I rename this one. Inner surface. Complete. And let me show the outer surface. And hide the inner surface complete. I select in the outer surface. And go to the Plot Workbench. And then I mirror this one in the S and Z plane. Okay. And I come down here and I go to the Surface Workbench and click on the Filling tool and selecting this one, this one. And I click OK. And doing the same process, drop this one down and select the outer, and the surface in here, and go to the Curve Workbench and parametric solid. And we have a solid 006, and I rename this one outer surface completed. And I select in this inner surface completed and I show it. And you can see inside here we have a good offset. And the next step is I will fill this hole up here. So I go to the Plot Workbench and selecting this edge and this edge. And I go to the rule surface, this edge, and then this edge, and then rule surface. And then I drop this one down, select the inner surface complete, outer surface complete, and the rule surface, and the rule surface. And I go to the Curve Workbench, and I click on parametric solid. And you can see we have a new solid in here. And let me go to the Plot Workbench. In the Plot Workbench, I will create in a new sketch, also on the top, but offset this one to 200. And then I create in a circle. And selecting this point and hit D and set the distance to 12.5. And selecting this circle and hit D and set the diameter to 36. A little bit smaller than the outer circle. and creating another one also in the center. Go out, selecting this circle and hit D and set the diameter to 34. So you can see the newer circle also inside here, and then I close. Next, I selected this cat and go to extrude. Let's extrude this one up to 20. Okay. Now I control selecting the solid and the extrude, and I union them together. Okay. So the next step is I'm going to fillet this edge. Control select this edge and then this edge. Okay, so I don't fillet in the middle because I will break the model. And then I go down here and selecting this edge, and then I go to the fillet with show. Okay. Alright, so next, if I selecting this edge and trying to fillet it with 0.5, for example. So I go out. So if you want to have a better, smoother detail in here, so you can use blend surface in the curve workbench. So hope you enjoyed the tutorial. One more thing, let me select in the fillet and go to the view and set the deviation down to 0.01. Okay, so this is the final result. So thanks for watching and see you in the next video.